Did you know that 63,000 Canadians are infected by HIV and AIDS? That's right. African, Caribbean, and Black communities are disproportionately impacted by HIV and AIDS. In 2016, about 16% of the new infections were African, Caribbean, and Black people.
African, Caribbean, Black communities in Canada represent only 5% of Canada's total population, while it constitutes for 14% of HIV infection.
And we have to act now. Use condoms and get tested regularly.
HIV, AIDS, stigma has affected me personally. I am originally from Uganda, in East Africa, and I'm born to a parent who remains my mother, who actually has refused to understand that I'm HIV positive, and she doesn't believe that I'm HIV positive. So she has burnt all my medications and my medication information once when I visited back in Africa. And also I was fearful of my community as well in Uganda, who did not want to hear anything about HIV. And also being known as a pastor and a preacher of the gospel, I have found it very, very challenging to engage people on HIV, AIDS. I take all the 4 years without treatment and without being on HIV treatment for all that time, due to the fear of, one, my mother, she's getting stressed over my status of being HIV positive. The more she sees me with medication, she's worried about what I'm taking. And secondly, she doesn't want to believe, because of our faith and believe in God, and because I'm also a pastor and I preach the gospel. So HIV cannot sit with me. I cannot be HIV positive when I'm a pastor of the Lord. I should be able to believe that I'm healed in Jesus Christ. So that's where most of my stigma comes from. And also here in Canada, I have suffered discrimination here in Toronto, most especially with my own Ugandan community, where they got to know about my involvement in the HIV/AIDS sector, my involvement in the HIV work. So some of my community members started realizing at that time I was drinking a lot. I became a little bit of, they called me a drunkard, and they personalized me to be and called me man with mental health and mental illness. And they started talking that this man, his HIV has reached his head, and he has a major mental health complexities. So I suffered pain of realizing that my community could not understand me living with HIV, and my community couldn't even welcome me when I started preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. The fact that they could see me drink and get drunk, and they could see me on the streets, spending nights on the streets and trying to find support. However, I'm very appreciative of the African Spanish Against AIDS, a place I found home, a place that welcomed me, a place that many supports from the supporting members at APAA, the support staff team, came to me and showed me the way. They showed me, took me to different support programs in the community.
Hi everyone, today is HIV National ACB Awareness Day. I will use this opportunity to reiterate our commitment toward the reduction of HIV stigma within our ACB community. And I encourage all of you to keep the conversation regarding the reduction of HIV stigma within our community. Thank you.
We need to work together. We need to embrace one another. We also need to work with HIV/AIDS organizations, especially Africans Against AIDS, which is championing the work of African, Black, Caribbean communities. We need to work with the Africans Against AIDS, and we also need to come together as not only people living with HIV, but also faith-based leaders. We need to bring the work of God, the work of Christ into the HIV field, and we also need to welcome the HIV work into our congregations, into our church, into our local parishes. And we as pastors, we really need to get that support and also work find the space within African Partnership Against AIDS. We need to find this space of healing together and working together and supporting the mission and the vision of APAA, and also working with our local communities and our key leaders.
HIV is a real challenge in our community. For this reason, this is why I want to urge us all to get tested regularly, use protection, take your medications regularly, both for prevention and treatment. And let's be part of the efforts to fight HIV-related stigma and discrimination. Together, we are a resilient community.